Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Congleton. I'm with Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Central Office Developmental Branch. CAD support is what a lot of people call us. Today, we're going to be discussing showing utilities in dynamic cross sections. Today, we're going to be talking and using some terminology that should be familiar. We're going to be talking about dynamic cross sections, not actual cross sections, dynamic cross sections. We're going to be talking about utility quality level or descriptors, A, B, C, D, those kind of quality levels. We're going to be talking about geometry, creating horizontal and vertical geometries for our utilities. And indirectly, we're going to be discussing feature definitions because of the geometries we're creating for our utilities. Okay, some key takeaways on this example are: it is assumed that you have a created corridor. It's also assumed that you know how to create a corridor. If you don't know how to create a corridor, please refer to one of our other videos. It would be unusual to have geometries of your utilities without a corridor, so that's why I'm assuming that a corridor will be there. Another takeaway is use quality level of utilities, which describes the accuracy of the location of those utilities, height, depth, and distance off of center line. That can be A, B, C, D, etc. Those definitions can be found in the utilities manual. Another takeaway is that proposed utilities are not supported. This is for located existing utilities so that you can use the location of those utilities to put in your proposed utilities. I've got a little setup here. I've got a corridor, just a small one, nothing very big, just for demonstration purposes. But I have my alignment, my corridor, and I have a template in here, as well as a right-of-way line. Let's see if I'll click on that here and let's see if it'll show. So it's a right-of-way line, just to show it, and it's an example right-of-way line. I also have an underground telephone utility as well as a gas main shown. I've actually created, these are all created vertically as well as horizontally. So I actually have a vertical alignment on this. Just to take a look at it, let's show it here. So you can see that I've selected for the right-of-way line, I actually have the ground line as my active profile, because typically when we're looking at right-of-way, we're going to be following the ground line. In a similar fashion, let me get off here and go into this one. This is my actual telephone line. Again, I have a vertical here. This is for example purposes. You can offset it off the ground line if you want, just to show a basic depth below the ground, but I decided just to go ahead and draw in a vertical. In a similar fashion, I've also shown the gas main vertically. Let's go to 3, and there's my gas main. Your text on the gas line is a little off right now. That can be corrected. We can actually talk about that later, but right now I'm just wanting to show you how you can see your utilities on your cross sections, dynamic cross sections. So we'll close this out, and just for, I guess, demonstration purposes, I'm also going to show you how to create a utility. We've actually had some changes in utilities here. If you notice, our telephone line actually has A and B. These are location markers that will give you, I guess, descriptors to show you how accurate the information is on the plan sheet. If you want to look up how those descriptors are identified, you can look that up in the utilities manual. So first thing I'm going to do to create a geometry for a utility is I'm going to turn off my persist snaps here. In my opinion, that helps out a lot of things. I'm actually going to turn on this feature definition selection tool, so that whatever feature definition I select, it will actually be using the right feature definitions based on what I select in this drop down, or drop up in this case. So we have alignments set here, and if you look for alignments, we actually have proposed right-of-way. If we go to linear, we can get into our utilities. We have existing right-of-way, existing planimetric, existing utilities. That's what we're going to use. We don't use proposed utilities because utility companies design the utilities and give us that information. So we don't have any uh, feature definitions set that will reflect in the dynamic cross section under proposed utilities, but we do in existing utilities. So if we go to existing utilities, you notice we have underground electric A, underground electric B, underground electric C and D. Notice that there's also one that says a point. We don't want to use the point. So in this case, let's use underground electric C and D. We also have proposed abandoned, or it's an abandoned line. PA is abandoned. It's thought to be abandoned. So we're going to use C and D for underground electric. I'm going to go up here to geometry. I'm going to go do a horizontal geometry, complex by pi, and I'm just going to literally start it just below this gas main. Not that you would actually find it here. And we're going to go ahead and just do one line to another and end the geometry. Now, however, if we want to create an element that can be seen in the dynamic cross sections, we have to make it 3D. So we'll click on the electric line. I'm going to go ahead and create a profile. So I select the profile view. I'm going to go into our profile. I'm going to select on here. Notice that there's nothing shown in this one because I'm actually now looking at the profile of the electric line and how it crosses the existing ground. So I'm going to go up here to vertical. I'm going to select profile complex by pi. I'm going to start here at the beginning. I'm just going to kind of draw in just something that's, just for example purposes, just something that kind of follows underneath, the existing ground here. There we go. And you notice that we actually get existing ground C and D. So I'm going to right click to accept that. And we have to turn that on. In other words, make it our active profile. So I'm going to set that profile as active. Otherwise it won't show up in the 3D. Now, one of the things we can do, we can turn off this view down here by toggling off the view. We go back to our original multimodal view. And what we can do is we can actually look at the 3D view and see if it's showing up. So if we go to view control, view plans, and 3D, our 3D shows up. You notice I've already cut some cross sections here, but what I'm looking for is this right here. So we actually have our electric line showing up, and it's actually designated as CD. So we know it's there. I'm going to close this, expand this back. Now I want to see if I can pull it up. When I pull it up, if it shows my dynamic cross sections. So we go to view control. I'm actually right clicking for anybody who doesn't know that. I'm right clicking on my mouse. This fly up window pops up. I can go to view control and then go view plans cross section. And this is dynamic cross section. Obviously, it's not our sheet cross section. So I'll go click on that and it'll prompt you. It says open dynamic cross section view, select OK to create a dynamic cross section. We are OK with that. So I'm going to select OK. And then it's going to ask you, do you want to locate using the corridor or the alignment? My suggestion, always have a corridor whenever you're looking at a dynamic view. I'm not sure why you would want to do it without the corridor. So when you select the corridor, it automatically knows what elevations it needs to look at. So I'm going to select that corridor handle, and then I'm going to click the view that I want it to open in. So it's actually got this view open. We're going to go ahead and click on it, and it's showing another cross section right now because of another. I was actually going through another cross section before. But you notice here, nothing's showing. Well, the reason nothing's showing is because we haven't gotten to our template yet. If you look, this blue line pops up whenever I click in and out. So the reason it's nothing's showing is because I'm actually not in my corridor yet. So let's move forward. And once it gets to the template view, where the templates actually show up, right about there, we are actually in our template view. If you look at our line that was moving across the screen, and look, all of our utilities are showing up. Here's our existing cable underground. This is existing cable underground for telephone. This is electric. And here's our existing gas main, as well as our right-of-way, which is shown on the surface. And all these are going to be at the approximate depths that I showed in my profile. So we also have our template showing up if you didn't notice that as well. And we can expand that so we can get a better view of it. You just click these buttons here and there, and you can expand that if you need to look at the plan view better. But ultimately, we've got the ability to zoom in and out and click along our path and watch how our utilities show up as we cross down the cross section. So that's how we actually, lay out and show our utilities in our dynamic cross section in dynamic cross section. So if you have any questions, please contact CAD support, fill out a form. We can help you out if you have any questions on this or if you have any difficulty. Again, my name is Chris Congdon, and I hope you learned something today. Okay, I hope everybody learned something today. As I mentioned at the end of the video, if you have any questions or comments or concerns, you can contact us at KYTC CAD support. You can type that into a Google search engine and it should get you to this webpage right here. And if you click on these hyperlinks, either here or down here, you should be able to see this technical support form, which you can fill out. And please, whenever you fill it out, make sure you enter your name, your email address, and specifically an area of issue. This will get it to the people who can help you the quickest, and then hit submit. So again, I thank you for attending today, and I hope you learned something. Thanks again.